such a beautiful world. Sometimes it's all such a blur. We wanna see you at our next show.
Hey, I'm Chris and Arun from Saves the Day. We're going to show you guys how to play some Saves the Day songs. And this one is called It's Such a Beautiful World.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's some fun chords in there. It's like a regular E major, and then passing with the B with some of this ringing out high strings on top, then A major 7, very beautiful chord, and then A major 7 to this. We do this B dominant 7, but with the minor second, two rubbing notes, and then an E major 7, and this really fun voicing. Gotta kind of work on that one, and then back to A major 7, and then
outlining the chords with some arpeggiated stuff. Well, I start off just like the fifths, thirds.
It's pretty. Yeah, so this is a way I like to play an E major 7. So what that is you'd have to do your ring finger on the 7th fret of the A string, and then do what's called the 3rd after that on the D string, and then you're putting in, this is the 7th, major 7, and then up here on the B string, you're really just a half step away, but you can play them at the same time if you do.
So the root's on the bottom and the top.
On a piano, you can play 2 notes side by side very easily. On a guitar, that's really hard to do because you can't play both frets at the same time. So I like to get stuff like that in there. I'm self-taught, so I had to just sort of like listen for what the ears liked. And then this guy helps me figure out exactly what's going on there just after the noise happens. Because he really knows what he's doing. Oh, so
that's just
pretty.
an A, that A, and then I had the major 7. But that's a voicing I've always really liked. I really like open strings in my voicings.
Oh, it's cool.
They're all, learn your chords and learn them all over your neck, and you can
Learn them all over your neck.
Yeah, there you go.
Suzuki's really simple song. It's sort of fun because the structure is really bizarre. And there's a guitar solo where Arun does a slide part, and then the next instrumental section is a bass solo.
We were doing that in the studio right after Tom Petty died, and so we were listening to a bunch of Tom Petty, and I remember sitting down, and I didn't have a solo written for that yet, and I was just reached for a slide just because we were listening to all these like Mike Campbell parts, and so it was sort of my ode to the Heartbreakers when I did the solo, but I didn't bring a slide with me. So.
Oof, I got goosebumps.
Well, we can show you some chords.
Yeah, we could show you the chords. Really, like, it's a simple progression, and the whole structure of the song happens in like 23 seconds or so, and we just do that like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
A G major to D, normal to D major, and then I do a C major and then to a C9. that's that pretty thing. And then I do that again. And then there's an E minor 7 to this D. What is this thing? With the B ringing out? It's like a D9. So I do this thing. It's just it's like a D major, but you take the top notes off, the 2 top notes. And then the when everything breaks and there's just a guitar by itself, it's C major to C major 7. So, and then we go back.
A lot of times when we do, like riffs like that, we'll change something really subtly, just it kind of adds either like sonically to the tone or just like in the progression, it sort of just makes the stereo image like bigger.
Yeah, the way we complement one another playing, we work really hard on it.
I basically play the same thing but just subtly different. So I'll go like. So like when maybe he's doing a minor 7, I'm just playing a regular E minor,
So
those
two notes,
like D sus4 or 2
yeah.
rather.
And it's cool. So he's got this one where I would have that open, and so when you get the 2 together, it's just harmonically really interesting and pretty.
Yeah.
Subtle but cool. We were talking about doing Rock's Tonic Juice Magic. This is a fun riff.
Yeah.
And we play
a lot of
sort
these
of like
old ones have sort of evolved as we've been playing them over the years. So we'll just kind of play it how we playing it.
Yeah. And we could just kind of walk you through the verse, really. Just this. So it's sort of like a metal riff. And it's doing this, what I didn't know at the time was a flat 5 right there. But that became something that I use all the time later. So this is kind of before, as I was learning guitar. And then I sort of figure out what I was doing much later. But you could see me starting to stretch for certain kind of cooler sounds or whatever. And so it's this half step thing. Just keeps going over the chord pattern, so.
Kind of makes it a little more angular.
Yeah, and it's just like there's a melody within the riff, like we grew up on Led Zeppelin, so that's just like what we wind up liking. We like the riffs to have movement and melody, and then the melody of the singing and the bass and everything just adds more cool music. So it's an F minor, really be an F minor, but since it's power chords, you're just playing 1st fret on the E string, 3rd fret on the A string, 3rd fret on the D string. Right there, you're up at a C sharp, or if you want 4th fret on the A string, 6th fret on the D string, and then you your finger on the D string goes down a half step to the 5th fret, and then back to the 6th fret. So it's really just playing around with this thing, and the basic structure or chord pattern is. And then you just gotta play around with that half step thing.
I just step on a bunch of pedals and make a little bit of weird noise, and it changes almost every night.
And it's really cool in the like sort of instrumental breakdown after verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
where you do some of that cool, like, with the 1,000 pedals going. It's really... So he writes parts that, like, you know, sometimes I'm like, wow, I wish that was on the record. I wouldn't put it past us to do, like, a live record of it maybe sometime. I don't know, it's turning 20 next year, so...
I don't know about re-recording it, but, like, you know, there's always, like we were talking about bug session stuff earlier, you know, maybe working on, like, a different version of it, or, you know.
Yeah, do the Bob Dylan thing and play it totally differently. People would love
that's
that.
why you should come see it live, because, you know, you can hear how cool it sounds.
Yeah, Saves Day is meant to be heard live. Listen to it live. Come out and we want to see you at our next show. We love you. You're beautiful. Praise Jah. And then, like, on an E minor, when I'm doing an E minor 7, all that is just taking off the octave note, and it's just subtly more interesting, you know. So they are normal chord shapes, but we save the day at